Thank you. Joining me now, attorney Ronald Chapman, to talk more about this case and the trial that's beginning. The judge presiding over this case has ruled that any reference to spying is not admissible in court. Why is that, and how will the prosecution proceed?
Yeah, I think it's a great ruling by the judge. I mean, what the prosecution wants to do is put China on trial in the courtroom now, but the judge clearly ruling that spying is not at issue. And the reason why is because that's not what the indictment is for. It's not for the crime of treason. It's for failing to register as a foreign agent. And this is something that is not traditionally used. In fact, it's not ever used against state public figures. This is a very unique case in the sense that they're alleging that somebody who was involved in state government and had the ability to make some of these relationships and decisions was failing to register as a foreign agent. And that's a very strange charge. So I think the judge did a good job here in limiting the language to be used at trial.
Talk about some of the evidence that the prosecution says they have, and Jessica laid out a little bit of this, but luxury cars, real estate as well. How strong is the evidence?
Yeah, I mean, if those were evidence of kickbacks, you certainly have something there. But just a lavish lifestyle, as we all know, is not going to be enough for the prosecution to land this indictment. What they really need to do is show a link between the Chinese government, what the Chinese government wanted, a kickback that was received by her in exchange for some action on behalf of the state. That's going to be a very difficult thing. The prosecutors probably in opening statement in just a few moments are going to show the Hawaii condo and show the Ferrari, but that's not the entire story. They need to draw the link, and that is going to be very, very difficult for the prosecution this morning.
Yeah, connecting the dots. Sons for her defense, the attorneys say that her travel to China was part of the job, an important part of her work in Asian American affairs to help New York maintain a friendly relationship. Is that defense strong, and what else do you expect to hear from her team?
I think it's an incredibly strong defense. I think in one of her positions, she was somewhat of a diversity officer. She was put there to establish relationships. China is a country that we do a lot of business with, and maintaining a strong relationship is important. So travel to China, in fact, even taking some actions on behalf of what the Chinese government wants, is not something that we would traditionally consider strange when you're involved at these levels of state government, especially in New York. So I think that's a strong defense. And what the federal government, what the prosecutors are going to have to show here is that that was outside of the scope of her state duties, and that was therefore wrongful and specifically related to the kickbacks. Again, a very tough thing to do.
Ronald, what types of witnesses might we expect in this trial? And she did work for two governors, Cuomo and Hochul. Might they be called to testify?
I believe that any attempt to subpoena the governors is going to be very, very difficult and probably blocked, principally because a lot of those communications inside government are going to be protected. But what I would imagine is the prosecution is going to put on several people from the governor's office who worked in close relationship with the defendant to describe her activities as being outside of the scope of her specific duties that she was afforded. Again, that's where we really get into the kickback. If she is engaging in activities that were ultra vires, that were done not on behalf of the state government, but done for the benefit of China. The prosecutors pointed to something very interesting, and I think this was kind of a highlight here for them, that she attempted to remove reference to Taiwan in an official state communication, and that was on behalf of the Chinese government. Perhaps they have some communication linking that. That would be one example of Chinese-specific activity that they may have a problem with.
Interesting. What a case. Ronald Chapman, thank you for your time.
Thank you.